Hey everyone, welcome back to the BioNexus Health Podcast series, Autism Uprooted. This is actually for all parents dealing with PANS, PANDAS, autism, with or without autism, even if it's just PANS, PANDAS, including for those dealing with genetic issues in their children, and being told that there is no hope. It's genetic, so there's nothing that can be done. So today we have uh, Christina, as well as our old friend Alexandra. She's going to be helping with a little bit of translation, and we will be discussing the remarkable recovery of Christina's daughter. I love using the word remarkable, amazing, fantastic, fabulous, because it is so wonderful to hear these heartwarming stories of children that have been just, given a life sentence of this chronic diagnoses. And then they recover, they emerge, like the phoenix. It's so beautiful. So let's go ahead and welcome Christina and Alexandra to today's podcast.
Welcome to the BioNexus Health Podcast with Dr. Jodie Dashore, who holds a PhD in integrative medicine, is board certified in integrative pediatrics, an internationally recognized pioneering clinician, and author. And now here's your host of BioNexus Health Podcast, Dr. Jodie Dashore.
So everyone watching, help me welcome Christina and Alexandra, our old friend Alexandra, like I said, back to today's podcast. They're both moms from the UK. I'm absolutely, the words I like to use, right? Amazing, phenomenal, fantastic moms of children. Christina will be speaking about her daughter, Natalia, and the mind-boggling progress that we have seen with Natalia. Right, Christina, welcome to today's podcast. Thank you so much.
Hello, Doctor. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm so glad. Alexandra, as always, heartfelt thank you for doing all that you do.
Thank you for having us.
Good. So it's interesting, Alexandra, you mentioned to me that you would like to raise awareness as to how Christina and you met a few years ago, and then how it was a process before Christina made up her mind to approach BioNexus and try the herbal treatment. So if you guys want to proceed.
I'll start over a tiny bit. I'll say my side of the story because we've got two sides of the story. I was talking about Philip's situation with one of our common friends, and she was a friend with Christina, and she told her about, look what's happening to this child, look how much progress he's doing, look what's happening. Maybe you should look into something else. I'll give you the number. Like always is happening, friends, family, you always hear something and you share information. So she put us in contact, and I said, yeah, that's not a problem. I'll come and meet them. So I've been there and I met Natalia, and I've been a bit in shock when I met her. And then I've asked Christina, do you want me to literally share all the information that I've got up until now, or you just want me to start low and slow? And she said, no, I'm okay. I'm open. I can listen. So she started listening to me, and I said, this child has a very red face, because this was the very first thing that hit me when I saw Natalia. Apart from her being like chubby, because she was like chubby for her age, because she's the same age as my oldest son. And I was like, okay, Natalia, Christina was quite happy with Natalia in terms of, she didn't know any better. She didn't know that she can be better, and her forehead was so big and so inflamed, and her eyes were literally hiding, and she's got like crystal eyes. She's got blue crystal eyes, and you couldn't even see them because they were hiding behind that swollen forehead.
Swelling, right.
She couldn't stay for 1 minute. Like Philip was fine, was settled, but she couldn't. She was running all the time. All the time she was running. and she couldn't turn his head. That was another thing that I've noticed. And I said to Christina, can she turn her head left and right? And she said, I didn't even notice that she can't do that. And I said, like, look, you touched her here and she's like in pain.
Oh,
Very first second, you can see she's in pain and she can't turn her head. She was turning the body. And I started to explain to her what I was doing and that there is another side of the story where you can do biomedical intervention depending on what testing have you got. She listened, she stayed close enough, but she never got involved into like, let me try some. But she was always there. Every time I was meeting with moms online on Zoom calls, or she was there, she was present, she was listening all the time. She didn't miss many of the meetings. She was there. And I was getting frustrated because I knew Natalia can do a lot better. And I was sad for her because some of the kids were progressing. Natalia was still there. Christina was a very big fan of therapies. And she managed to do a lot of the progress of Natalia through therapy.
okay.
Done by her.
Cool. Yeah.
So she stayed up until a moment when something clicked hard into his head. And I think that moment was when we started BioNexus, because we were coming after a huge regression. Philip was in hospital, paralyzed. And then I think at one point she have seen in Natalia some common symptoms in regard, I can't remember exactly now what it was, but it started to hit her like every single day. And she started asking more questions. And then she was like, let me try a bit of a binder. Let me try a bit of a something just to see. And the minute she started to see that she was settling, it was the moment when she decided to go for it. When she decided to go for the treatments, what I appreciate, and I'm very happy that she did so, that she have waited, was the fact that when she started with everything from diet to house and everything. She had made all the changes that you need to do for a child to be better.
That's
a couple of months in, and Natalia's
yes.
progress are fantastic.
She's done really well. Yes, Christina. So that was interesting what Alexandra said, right? So, actually, Christina, I'd like to hear from you as well, because it happens to many parents that, because there is so much information out there, right, Christina?
Yeah.
You don't know what to do, what is right, what is wrong, and sometimes it just takes time.
Yes, our meeting, it happened exactly like Alexandra said. But I have to be honest. While she started to explain me some things and about histamines, about why she's that red, I was thinking, another girl that knows everything because actually that day was the same day when we came back from the doctors, and because I don't know if I can say complain, but I always explain to them she's always red and she's always swollen and she's always that. And I was told there's high fever. So for me, it made sense. Yes, when we go out, she gets more red and things like that. So probably that's it. And when I got home after meeting with Alexandra, I said, okay, let's read a little bit about what she said.
Right.
And see. And when I start reading and see that it make more sense that about what I was told, I said, yes, okay, let's see, and slowly, I start to be there and with the meetings, and I've seen exactly what she said. Some children made progress, amazing progress, and I've seen the changes. And the turning point for me was actually after the meeting with the neurologist. When let's say it in a few words. We've been told that because there is a genetic, they thought that there is a genetic modification. Natalia may be maybe having seizure, or maybe that was the turning point for me, and it helped me decide to go further, because I said, okay, I don't want to see my child to get worse in order to intervene. So I can give it a chance and see what's happening.
So I can
Right,
explain
right.
how exactly what's happening. So we were discussing in a group about, even if you've got a genetic condition, there's
Yeah.
still improvement that it can be made. So Christina was going for the genetic testing, and she came back with a genetic test with results that Natalia, it's having a syndrome, a specific syndrome. So the doctors then started to worry about the syndrome, because it was like short life expectancy, decline into everything. It was, it seems to be a lot more like MS.
Lot more like MS. Okay, so wait. So let's see. So no, yeah, I want to specify this, right? So Natalia was given this genetic syndrome diagnosis. That's it, life sentence, right? For life. And she's going to have seizures for life. She's going to have short life expectancy, other major health concerns. Things will slowly start to decline or degenerate, similar to MS, for this little girl of 7 years old.
Yes.
Wow, it's mind-boggling.
Each, like opposite to what they were saying, we were seeing Natalia calming herself, because, as I said,
Yes.
Christina was implementing some detox spot, some trying to make some arrangement in the house, like putting some water filtration system, air purification, like slowly doing some improvements that are beneficial for every single person. You don't need to have a specific condition to do these changes in your life. And she had seen the changes, and we were seeing a better Natalia. How they can say to us she's gonna start declining so bad when we are seeing her improving. And I said to Christina, we had several discussions about it, and I said, it's not something that you need to worry that much. Let's have a discussion with Dr. Dashore, and let's see where we are going from this point. You've got nothing else to lose. This was the discussion. We've got nothing to lose. Like, if we need to believe what they are saying, so is only the worst that we are expecting. Let's see what other people can say about what's going on with Natalia. And yeah, that was the moment when she decided she's gonna make the step, and we've been and seen you for the first time, which was not long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, was it? And then, I start hearing about these fantastic improvements. So, Christina, can you walk us through? You met with me, and then you started the BioNexus protocol, right? One thing I really admire about you, and Alexandra as well, is that you did everything, right? From you were not completely dependent on the herbal protocol and the supplements. You cleaned up the environment, you cleaned up the diet. So can you tell us what happened after you first met with me?
Yes, after our meeting and the lab results, I've understand that I need to do some changes with the house, with the way that I'm cleaning, with the food that I'm cooking. Even though even before we had, most of the time was home cooking food, but sometimes the ingredient wasn't the best. So I learned that I need to be more careful with what I'm buying, from where I'm buying, what ingredient, to look on the ingredient. Changes like detox bath,
Yes.
making a program. Yeah. So even though at the beginning it was a little bit difficult to understand. Why do I have to do these changes? I mean, it was a process for me um, to do the changes, to understand why am I doing, and to see the changes. I don't know if it's making sense.
No, yes, actually, if I may, I'm just switching views, so all of us can discuss. Right. So I appreciate what you said, Christina, because that happens to many, right? You're like, overall, I'm eating healthy. So why do I have to do organic? I'm doing the best I can. Sometimes I'm busy, so I'm gonna go get something from the store and just use that. Right. So that is really important, because what happens is, you mentioned Natalia's labs, right? So you must have been quite shocked to see all the problems which
Oh
we
yes,
found in her labs, right?
yes, I didn't expect all to be that the results to be that bad. I mean, I was expecting something, but not that result. So for me, it was another shock.
Yes. Now, looking at the labs, the one thing I always say is that if we find something in labs, that is a big shock to most of us. But to keep in mind that most of the things we find in the labs um, are triggers for the PANDAS, which can mimic autism and sometimes make genetic issues look worse than what they are, and when you have an outside person, when you have a neurologist or any other medical professional looking at the presenting symptoms, it looks like severe autism. And many children with autism have genetic issues. That doesn't mean that their situation is completely hopeless. There is no required progress that can be seen, right? There's only therapies that can be done forever, and then children will not have a long life, and all of these things that we are told, right? We are told that, oh, children with autism have and there are many studies, it's a fact, right? There are mitochondrial dysfunction, immune system dysfunction, neurological dysfunction, psychological dysfunction, social problems. Okay, I get it. So this is the syndrome of autism. But even if we take one at a time, right? Let's look at, immunological dysfunction. Why? Why is there? It can't all be the syndrome, right? There has to be something. So which is why I like to do labs to be able to pinpoint what is happening with each child, for customized dosage. So that's one thing. And the reason for keeping a really clean diet is, why? Because all of these problems that you saw in the labs, right? Many of them are alive infections. Mold is live. All of these live infections, the strep, the staph, the Klebsiella, the mycoplasma, the H. pylori, the parasites, these are live infections. They like to keep the body unhealthy. Why? So they can grow and reproduce, right? Every living thing, there is that survival instinct that, oh, I want to grow and I want to live. So our body, our gut becomes pre-programmed to seek out the food that doesn't make Natalia healthy, but makes the bacteria grow. That is what, so this is why you have to be so diligent, because, when you eat your food, it is the good bacteria in your body that help with the digestion, along with the digestive juices, from the pancreas, from the stomach. Now, when the bad bacteria are more than the good bacteria, who is in charge? It's very simple as that. So in order for us, and it could be for many years, before I see people. So in order for us to allow our good bacteria to grow and thrive so they can naturally push out the bad bacteria, so that our children are not doing supplements for the rest of their lives, so they are healthy. So the immune system becomes healthier. That is the goal. It's not that I want my people, I love to discharge people. People don't go. I'm like, okay, you're good. No, we want to meet with you once a year. I'm like, absolutely, right? Once a year is fine. But yes, that's the goal. So that's the reason why you have to read ingredients. Right, Christina, does that make sense?
Yes. I noticed that as soon as we did these changes, especially with the food, I mean, before Natalia had just a few foods that she was eating, and she was constantly eating. I mean, she was all day
Hungry.
started looking for something to eat. Now she's eating everything. No constant looking for food. She had 3 principal meals, some snacks, and the changes are, I have no words to describe.
So please do. I'm going to put the focus on you. Please inform us of the changes that you have seen in Natalia. The swelling of the head, all of the genetic problems, the health-wise, the language, and after how long? So you are doing all of these changes along with the BioNexus protocol. So that is a lot of work, which you.
Yeah. We start in August, at the end of the August last year.
It was September, basically. We had the meeting in August, but then it was September by the time we started, literally.
Yes.
Okay.
And immediately after we start the protocol and the changes, and we start noticing slowly her attention, her patience. She was cooperating. We didn't have to leave the house 1.5 hours before school, because from our home until school, we are doing just 15 minutes by walking. So we had to leave the house 1.5 hours before.
Why?
Because she had her own way. We
had
to
to stop.
She
had to stop to turn every single stone, every single leaf to look. So
she had OCD. Okay, so there was some OCD PANDAS behaviors. Okay.
Yes. So for me, it was, I don't need to leave the house 1.5 hours. I can go, So it was, she started talking because she was nonverbal. She started
leave this for the end, leave this for the end. Say about diet changes. So she has lost weight.
She lost
weight. The swelling.
Yes. She had a massive swelling into her tummy, which is gone. We've got pictures with her tummy flat and that, with trousers that didn't fit her years ago, and now they are perfectly fine. See, I remember all this because I've got them all in my
Oh, fantastic. So she is, so she's overall healthy. She lost weight. It's important to remember that, biological toxins are lipophilic, right? Meaning they are attracted to fat. And many times when there is inflammation, there is more toxins. When there is more toxins, there is increase in weight. And again, when there are infections, they want to be fed. So the child will keep eating all day, and then they keep growing, and then the child is hungrier, gets bigger, gets more fat, more toxins are attracted. It's a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? And it keeps going. It just keeps self-perpetuating in that way. So go ahead. Yes. So what I think this is another discussion. So because Alexandra is filling in the blanks a little bit, right? About the progress. she started talking. That's great. But before that, swelling went down. She lost weight.
Yes, she lost weight. The swelling would go down. The inflammation. I mean, you day by day, you was able to see the changes. I mean, there wasn't like something that you don't notice. Even from our friends, they start asking us, what
It was
are you
very
doing?
obvious for everybody that something is happening
Yes,
for her. From the teachers,
Something good is happening, right? It's like a butterfly emerging.
yeah,
able
exactly.
to sit down. She wasn't able to sit down, and then all of a sudden she's able to sit down, to write what she wants, to communicate with the teachers. She's getting involved in the school activities. They had, I don't know, it was something like sports. There was something that she's got involved in. I'm not sure. I think this is
Even
what
at
it
the
is.
Christmas party, she made her role. She was an angel and dance and yeah, participate.
Wait, Christina, wait, she was on stage
Yes.
during Christmas time?
Yes.
Wow. Like
Yes,
this is a literally 180, completely different child, no
More than
OCD.
180 is 350.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say 360 because we would have been in the same point. So it's 350 degrees. Yes, it's definitely is the
Oh, a
biggest.
whole new life. Whole,
Yes, she was able to sit all day in the classroom because before she was, half an hour, maximum 1 hour. And after that, she had to go to the quiet room, to the sensory room, because it was very overwhelming for her. Uh, so she was able to sit whole day, actually doing activities at school, slowly starting to interact with kids.
And now she's got the social life and she's got friends and she's participating in activities with kids, even on the private time, even in the school time.
she has friends, she's interacting with other children, she is, performing on stage. I love it.
Yes,
Oh,
next week
so
she's
cute.
gonna have a singing competition. So
She
yeah,
loves to sing. She loves to sing.
That's just so amazing. So she is singing, she's talking, communicating,
So
and
people can understand the difference in the child. Because like when I met her, she couldn't sit down for 1 second. She couldn't. She was constantly on the move. And last month, was it last month?
last
She's
month.
go for 2.5 hours at Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
And she stayed there at the whole show from start to end. Christina was crying in the back, like, what's going on?
Yeah,
Because she
it was
went there with no expectation. She was like, it is what it is. It was one of Natalia's dreams to go and see the shows because she was always asking about the circus. And we were like, you shouldn't go for that type of circus. You need to go for the little shows. Don't
yeah.
get used to it. And she said, no, I'm going to go there. Let's see how it. And she stayed there for 2.5 hours for the full show. And she's been amazing.
She was fascinating. She was clapping. She was laughing. It was really amazing to see her like that.
yes, maybe she'll take a ballet. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
More of a singer. It runs in the family. It's
Oh,
more of a
singer. Okay, I see. Okay. Oh, that's amazing. That is, Christina, tell us a bit about what do her doctors say now?
They are seeing the progress. They are asking, but they don't know. I don't know how to put that. Alexandra, can you a little bit?
They won't get involved in more. So it's the same situation as with Philip. Yeah. So we've got this situation. We've got a major progress, a progress that can't be denied.
Right.
They are taking notes of, okay, this child is on this protocol, taking these things because we need to share with the doctors whatever the child is taking, and we are fine with it. Have it there and say it is from that. But they won't get involved. They will just say, well done, mom.
Right.
And that was it. And what happened to Christina, she has been and seen the neurologist and the genetician. And basically after Natalia's progress, they had discharged her from the genetic clinic. And bear in mind, at the beginning, we had a genetic condition confirmed by a genetic test. Yes. And now they are saying that she doesn't have that syndrome anymore. And I was like, how can you not have a genetic condition that is confirmed by a test and now you don't have it anymore? And they said it's one of the cases that's skipping because the father is positive for the same thing, but he's not showing any symptoms. So the daughter is the same. I said, okay, but at the beginning, she was like, you were preparing us for the worst.
Yes, gloom and doom in the beginning.
And they said, no, it was an error. Whose error?
Yes.
And basically, yes, that's it. So they are denying the diagnosis that has been put on the paper by themselves with another paper saying that there is no genetic condition and that she's making some progress.
That she's making some progress and
they are admitting she's making a lot of progress, but they won't say it specifically. It is from in Christina's case, they are not going to say it is from the treatment. Yes. In my case, they have admitted it is from the treatment.
Right. Well, it's, it is something at least, because it's not going to go on Natalia's permanent record, that she has all of these problems, right? Because, if it is on her permanent medical history, then unfortunately, every small thing can be blamed on that. Oh, it's just genetic. We can't do anything about it. But now you can see that, one thing, I'm going to say this again, it's like a broken record, but I always like to say that genetics will load the gun. But epigenetics, our lifestyle, epigenetics pulls the trigger. So when you have all of these other medical problems going on underneath, then everyone has genetic modifications, mutations, problems. They don't come to the forefront, right? But when these other conditions, these infections, the toxins, they start making symptoms look worse. So if they can mimic autism, it can mimic many other genetic conditions, which can be deemed as hopeless because they look worse already. So they're like, okay, she's only 7. She's already so worse. So we have to prepare mom and dad, for the worst. That, and anytime, like for me, they had said Brian has 2.5 months to live. 2.5 months, not even years. What the heck is that?
Yeah.
It's just, this was 20 years ago. That's so crazy. All right, cool. So, do you want to share any photographs or videos?
Them here. So entirely up to you if you want to see them now.
Yes, who has them? You have them? You want to share the screen? Okay, I should be able to share. Oh, wow, look at that.
I'm going to show a video with Natalia. This is at the beginning before she started the protocol.
So this is before.
Yes,
before. She was constantly crying and asking for food, and it was the major distress for her not to get food or something from the cupboards. It was the major problem for Christina to deal with.
Yes, we can see the swelling. Sorry, Christina, you were saying something?
Most of our days was like that.
Okay, and then I got this one, which was from the same period, and this was the max that she can get vocally. This is what she was verbalizing.
So it's not words, she's just making some sounds.
Yes, she's just blabbing,
Actually, she sounds like she's in pain.
Yes.
And I think she was asking actually for a banana somehow. I'm not sure.
She wanted to have something sweet there.
No, okay.
So in that video, we can see her forehead swelling as well as the belly swelling.
I'm going to put a picture with Natalia. So this is her at the beginning.
Look at those beautiful eyes. Wow.
I told you. It was very hard to see them.
Mm,
And this is Natalia now.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, look at her tummy and look at her chest area
Yes.
to see how big of a change is from here to here.
So at the age of 7, with the biotoxin exposure, she was beginning to develop.
Yes.
And that has scaled back tremendously. She just looks, I mean, she looks neurotypical.
Yes. The
That's,
changes was,
yes.
and I have to be honest with you, at that time I didn't notice. Okay, I noticed that she's swollen and she's developing but now looking back at the pictures and videos, it's amazing for me to see.
The difference is it.
Yes. Do you have any videos now?
This is like a month after she began.
Yes.
So she started brushing her teeth and started to pay attention at herself.
Okay.
Didn't happen before because she couldn't focus or she couldn't do many things. Yeah.
Oh,
So she
wow. So
started
this
doing
is,
it, everything, start to
Yes.
beginning. And it was like all of a sudden it wasn't something like let's practice brushing. No, she started doing it by herself.
oh, and you said a month into the herbal protocol.
Into the
Yes.
into the BioNexus protocol. This
Wow.
is what is she doing here? She's playing.
Playing. She's decorating some cakes.
So she's spending a lot of the time at the table doing activities.
Yes.
I'm gonna leave this one here and I'm gonna save the last one for the best. So this is her doing maths for school or practicing maths for school.
She's doing
And
math for
she's
school
nailing
on
all
the
the
computer.
she's nailing all the results. She's doing fractions.
I just love it. I'm getting a bit emotional. Oh.
Okay, and now
Silly.
Yeah,
this
What
one.
else?
and foolish.
What else? Say something else, not just silly and foolish. Say something else.
I want to be a boy clown.
You want to be a clown.
Yes,
Why do you want to be a clown?
because you're like clown.
I'm a what?
Clown.
Clown.
I'm a clown?
Yes.
Why am I a clown? Why you call me a clown? Why you call me a clown?
No,
No, what?
because you're like clown.
Yeah, I still can't hear what she's saying, but maybe you can send the video a bit
Yes,
later.
we can send it definitely. So basically, she's discussing with her brother, telling him that I want to be a clown, and there's a
Yes.
conversation between them based on this word.
Look at that. Yeah,
Yes,
she
you're a
is.
clown. Let me give you the best of the best now.
Can you count in Romania?
Yeah.
Let's hear you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Can you count in English?
No.
Come on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sorry.
She was counting in 3 languages.
Not just 3. So she's doing it in Romanian, in English, in Greek, and in German.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
my goodness. No, but she is, I mean, look at this beautiful little girl. She's alert. She's so much intelligence in the eyes. She's so smart.
Yes.
Oh, God bless her. Wow.
Another thing that I forgot to tell at the beginning, since before meeting you, it was something that was telling me that it's something not okay with her because she was able to read since she went to the nursery. And for me, it was a little bit strange because she wasn't able to talk, but she was able to read and understand. So that thing for me was telling me it's something more, because normally if you start talking
Yes,
first, then
yes.
you start reading, and so it was really, really hard for me to understand why it's happening that. And when we start, and everything made sense.
Yes. So look at that. Oh my gosh, like it is just, no one can tell there is something going on with her. She's just, it's a different child.
And we've got one more video that she's been to Philip's birthday, and then she was keep asking Christina, when can we come again for Philip's birthday? And Christina said, we're gonna go next week again and again. And she keeps asking, and she's so funny. But one thing that I have observed, like the kids with the cake at the birthday party, when you tell that when they want cake, because there's a queue of 40 other kids asking for cake, obviously you can't skip the queue. And I've explained to Natalia, this cake is not good because I can't give to the other kids the cake that we are giving to our kids for a diet. And I said, wait on the side and we're going to have something else. And she did understood me perfectly without throwing
any pressure.
Think of being upset or anything like that.
Yes,
So,
even when I said to her, it's time to go, the party, it's over. She just came, we put the coats, and we just left in peace with no crying, screaming, kicking.
and she has blended through the other kids that she didn't know, and she was playing and interacting. It's been amazing. I've seen her face to face like 3 years ago, and I've seen her face to face now in February. And I was so proud of her. And of Christina, but I am very proud of Natalia. And
I am too. And I'm also proud of Christina.
And Christina as well, but I'm not, it took her too long, so I need to somehow.
That's okay. I know. Yes, you're the mentor, Alexandra. So you're like, wake up, right?
Yeah. But the time when Alexandra always telling me, Christina, you need to act. You need to start doing something. You need to. And I was like, okay, I will try. Yes, I will. But I wasn't.
Yes. No, that's okay.
It was a process.
Yes. It is.
Yes. A process because she was so much in therapy. Ask her how much therapy she does now with Natalia.
Yes. So yeah.
Like every day after school.
Right.
So she was picking her up until late in the night. She was having boxes and folders and things and activities that she would have gone through with Natalia. Improvement, 0. I'm telling you that. Not like 0. She was trying, but she was struggling. There wasn't any progress. Now she spends 0 time on therapy, 0. And Natalia is learning everything from the environment, which I think is the most important thing for these kids.
Yes, they are so smart. People just dismiss our children that, that there are genetic problems, autism, but our children are so smart. And once they start emerging, it's just so beautiful. I know you mentioned about, informing her at the birthday party that the cake was not good. Same thing, in Brian's 4th grade classroom when he had just started speaking in just small sentences, and we could see things were emerging. And his teacher, she was giving everybody lollipops for some reason or the other. They did well in the class, so he says no. Why? Because not organic. Yucky. So teacher was like scratching her head, and wouldn't you know it, 2 days later, she replaced her disgusting lollipops with organic lollipops made only with fruit juice. So and then she was kind enough to inform me that, see, this is what, and they're not that much more expensive. It's maybe $2-3 more, but they're so much healthier for the kids to get that 1 gram of sugar versus like 25 grams of full of glyphosate, high fructose corn syrup. So that is, it's good. So our children are learning for life, how to be healthy, stay healthy. Oh, beautiful. I am so glad that you are, both of you are here today to discuss. And, it really needed a discussion because this is so dramatic. I can't wait for my IT person to add the videos at the end. Now, those watching, remember, right? Maybe we'll add the videos in the beginning. Maybe we should do that before and after. Yeah, I'll leave it to my IT person for her creativity. But thank you so much, Christina and Alexandra, for
Thanks for
sharing this today.
I think one of the most important things is like it's been just 6 months.
Yes.
Yes, it's just been 6 months. Yes, and
I remember Miss Christina this. What are you gonna do if she's gonna start talking in a couple of months? And she was like, yeah, I will see what I'm gonna do then and whatever. And then she's sending me a video about Natalia saying the name of one of her friends, and I was like, when did she started talking?
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
And then she was like, well, I forgot to say it. I was thinking that maybe it's not just happening, and I was like, no, it's happening. Yes, from then it was constantly progress.
Yes, and now, there's going to come a day when you're like, too much talking. When is she going to stop?
I wish, because yes, the first child I had that, but with her, no, you can talk as much as you want. You can talk.
Oh, of course, yes.
I waited so long, to hear her voice, and it's amazing.
Yes, and to see her, this beautiful little girl, so smart, so smart. Oh, well, I hope I'm around when she grows up and she is singing and she's going to college. And yeah, I would love to see all my children around the world, as they get older. Yeah, maybe when I'm 80, we'll have a party.
Guys, the party from you, you're not gonna know that is happening, and we're gonna invite you there. You're gonna be surrounded by all these.
Oh.
That would be lovely.
Good. So I am going to end this podcast here today. And for those watching, thank you so much for joining us. And I will see you guys at the next episode of the BioNexus Health Podcast series. And both of you ladies, enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too.
And I'm sure I'll see you soon. Of course. Yes, always a blessing. Namaste.
Thank you for joining Master Herbalist Dr. Jodie Dashore, Director of the BioNexus Health Clinic and BioNexus Herbals, on the BioNexus Health Podcast, where we explore and share information and stories about recovering and healing from chronic and environmental illnesses such as mold biotoxin illness, Lyme disease, autism spectrum disorder, fatigue, Crohn's and colitis, mast cell activation syndrome, PANDAS, and more. Please help us grow our message by subscribing to our podcast channel and sharing the podcast on your social networks. For more information, visit BioNexusHealth.com.
Information within this video, audio, or text, collectively known as the podcast, has not been reviewed by the FDA. Nothing within the podcast is intended as or should be construed as medical advice. Information is for general informational and educational purposes only. Consumers of the podcast should consult with their healthcare practitioners for medical recommendations. Seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider. Do not disregard the advice of a healthcare provider based on any information from the podcast. The information within the podcast may contain information concerning dietary supplements or over-the-counter products that are not drugs. Our dietary supplement products are not intended for use as a means to cure, treat, prevent, diagnose, or mitigate any disease or other medical or abnormal condition.